Good day and welcome to today's edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking at the race meeting from Gravel on the turf track, today being the 7th of March. Just before we kick off with our preview of race 1, I just want to mention I've got a very good special offer for you, but this offer is only valid for today. So you need not tomorrow, not the day after, only today. You can now sign up for Outside of Genie for 200 Rand for the rest of the month. This surely is a good offer. Yesterday we had a reasonable day again on both Kenworth and Turpentine. And actually in race 5 in Turpentine, we gave you the whole full Monty. Our 4 selections, that means our outright selections, our 2 outsider selections, our suggested exacta, trifecta, quartets, swingers, everything came in that race. As our 4 selections was the first 4 home, and the winner was the 16-1 shot, number 1, Chitengo, which was our outsider selection for that race. So just on that one race, you could have made all your money back that you paid for your subscriptions. So remember, only today, 200 Rand, you can contact me on 083 585 5133. So here we kick off. I can tell you now, before I just kick off, this is a very difficult card again at Gravel. There are very big fields, and we all know that the draw in a Gravel plays a big part. But unfortunately, you can't always pick the horses that has got the good draws, because sometimes the better horses has got the outside draw, and all you can hope for is that the jockey has got the enough experience to overcome the draw and finish off the race in good style. So here the 1200 meters starting at 1240 are all to come maiden plate for fillies and mares. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 2 Austin, now 17-10, number 5 Super Layla 4-1, Solar 9-2, Capriana 7-1, Modbihara 10-1, Let's Not Linger 14-1, Heart Strike 22-1, Princess Dolly 22-1, and 25-1, and longer the rest. And we have scratchings here of number 7, 13, and 17. So let's kick off here in race number 1, where my first selection is number 5. Number 5 being the horse called Super Jella. Sorry, I just want to get there to Super Jella. Super Jella only had 2 races, one on Scottsville and one on the Poly. And in both races, she did finish off well. Has got Lyle Hewitson on board from draw 5. And it seems to me that the 1200 meters will suit her, as last time out, she was running on strongly behind Conquer the World, which was a bit of a surprise winner on the day at 25-1 on the Poly. But before that, also ran a nice 400 to finish 23.7, which is reasonable. Any 400 to finish under 24 seconds is reasonable. And since this is a third run, I do think that number 5, Super Layla, might be the one to beat in this race. And for outsider elections, I'm going to go for number 6, Solar, which I also think has got a very good chance to win. It's a Give Me the Green Light filly by National Assembly mare. This horse has now finished twice behind Bright Eyed Girl and Love of London. Again, Love of London was a big of an outsider. My initial reaction was to make a choice between number 5 and 6, but I did win with number 5 because number 5 had better 400 to finish times, although number 6 Solar did finish her first race on the Gravel over 1200 meters and 23.6 race green. That day was third, but unfortunately, the last 2 runs, she didn't finish off too well. So that hence my selection going to number 5, but definitely number 7 in with a huge chance for me. And my other outsider selection is number 9, which is Mubiera. Now, Mubiera is an ex-Sean Terry. It was had one run which wasn't too bad. And he's engaged, Paul Gadsby has engaged Richard Fourie for this ride. The horse showed pace just to be tired a little bit late, but the 400 to finish time, as you can see, because the horse tired, wasn't that good. But I'm sure this horse is very well bred, this filly, a Var filly by John's Causeway, and I'm sure she's going to improve today. Definitely one to watch. And any other horses we can look at is number 2, and that is the favorite Austin. Also in with chance he's been improving slowly, and last time out ran second behind Start Choice at Scottsville. Today's the first time at Greyville. Nicely drawn, well bred, and yeah, must definitely have a chance. Then we move on to race number 3. Above myself, no, race number 2, sorry, which is a Phyllis Mare 69 handicap over 1,000 meters, Class E, average merit rated 66. Let's have a look at the betting here. The betting as follows. Number 9, Star Act 4 to 1. 9 to 2, Someone Exciting. Always on my mind, 7 to 1. Soiree 7 to 1. 12 to 1, Ariana Spinner. Matadora's Pride 12 to 1. 12 to 1, Clock Stopper 15 to 1, and longer the rest. So again, we're looking at here at the Class E, average merit rate at 66. Now, my first selection in this race is number 11. And as I said earlier, unfortunately, draws, has got a say. But I'm going with this horse because this horse ran second last time out in a C Division 77. Now finding herself in the E Division 66. But has been running well in stronger company before Soiree. And I do believe that number 11 Soiree with Richard Fourie on board uh, is definitely going to be there when the photos are taken. I see that Richard Fourie has has got a number of good rides, so maybe the jockey to follow for the day. But I would think that Richard Fourie has got experience to overcome the draw, as this horse normally goes to the front. And I think today definitely he's not going to bring it from the back. That will surely, diminish her chances. Then my other outsider selection is another horse that's drawn wide, and that's number 12. And number 12 is Clock Stopper. Now, Clock Stopper is also a horse that has run against some decent opposition up in Joburg, and now today find herself in KwaZulu-Natal. First time on this course. Ryan Manga on board, drawn 12. Also a horse that likes to go to the front. She was the winner of that infamous race where the ambulance siren went off and the jockeys was under the impression that it's a false start. This horse has shown some promise now and then. So I think in this not a very strong field, I think number 12 Clock Stopper might be there when the photos are taken, when they get to the winning post. My other outsider selection in this race is number 8 Color of Light. Also a horse that's been running there and thereabouts, but um, definitely I think the 1,000 meters will suit this horse, would suit this horse. Plus, it's getting a -4, only carrying 55.5. Now, this horse has competed in also in higher grades at some certain times and didn't do badly. So I would think Color of Light hasn't won for 1,000 days. Surely her time must be close now. I would be thinking that she would be going to the breeding barn shortly. Probably at the end of the season, and I'm sure the connections would love to get another win out of a Color of Light. Then we also want to have a look at number 9, Star Act. Star Act has just won her maiden, but won it well, 1.5 lengths, and might have a chance again. But a 3-year-old filly carrying 59.5, and they are horses that are carrying less. Uh, you know, so might have a chance, but I'm thinking that there are horses with better chances. Here's number 10, Beckoning Beauty, also a 3-year-old carrying 59.5, but getting a -2.5. Did beat Always on My Mind, which came out subsequently and won again last time out, 4 lengths behind Bernie's Dream. So probably also a type of horse that you want to maybe include in the back end of your quartets and trifectas. So then let's now move on to race number 3, which is a maiden plate 2,400 meters. Now here the betting is as follows. 3-1 Jacob's Ladder, 5-1 Do Re Mi, 11-2 Grey Langari, 1,000 Tunes, 15-2. Armenians 8-1, Command Council 10-1, Alice Island 12-1, Kaola 14-1, Noble Nova 16-1, Royal Mazarin 22-1. Oh, that one, yeah. Then 28-1, Just Dixit, and the rest 60-1 and longer. Now, if there's one thing that's a fact in KwaZulu-Natal, and that is that the staying races are weak. Week after week, or race after race, you'll find different winners, sometimes winners with no form on the 2,400. So definitely a nightmare of a race to kick off the pick six. And again, yeah, I'm going for a big outsider, number 7, Royal Mazarin, currently 22-1. Now, you think I must be off my rockers in tipping this race, but first of all, let's have a look at the facts. The facts is, this is Tony Nassif. Tony Nassif, I can assure you, won't spend a lot of money to get a horse to KwaZulu-Natal if it's got no chances. It's all, Tony Nassif have shown in the past. He's won quite a lot of races with horses who couldn't cope in Gauteng, bring it down to Durban, and he takes home the stakes. And I think Royal Mazarin has had to run over 2,400 meters, 12 lengths behind the 10th. But also a significant fact is Simanga Kumalo is coming down for this ride. He's only got 4 rides on the card, which 2 are for Tony Nassif. The one is, I think, for Gareth van Zyl Jr. On a horse the horse that won the Gold Cup and is surely too short. And then got one other runner now. We'll have a look at this now, and that runner also probably might have a chance. But it's also so Simanga Kumalo coming down only for 4 rides, with 2 of them are for Tony Nassif. Surely there's some money to be made. I'm thinking here, this is going to be the business for the day. So number 7, Royal Mazarin, I can promise you, this horse won't jump at 22-1. That is a fact. So then my other outsider selections here is number 8, Do Re Mi. Do Re Mi is a horse that I've been watching for a time now. It's by Noble Tune. And I must say I had high expectations of Noble Tune, but because when they did write-ups, I mean, this horse was so well bred, but I think overall, if one must go and sit down and have a look, you'll see that Noble Tune. There are some of them that are performing here and there, but overall, I don't think he is making it as a stallion at this stage. But Do Re Mi has been ridden by Jacobs in 10 of his all 10 of his starts. He's now getting 1.5. He last time out, he ran on well behind H2O, which on that day was my best bet of the day. So certainly I think Do Re Mi must have a chance in this field. Then my other outsider selection is number 9, Warren Kennedy on Armenians for Lazarne Forbes and the Viljoen and Fenweeks. Also was in the same race behind H2, but did fade. But before that, ran behind the Larder Sprite. Has run a couple of places here and there. So maybe a horse that can be there when the photos are taken. Then there's one. Here's the favorite, number 1, Jacob's Ladder, -2.5. Carl Stradom on board, draw 1. The horse has been running well over shorter distances, and my problem is I'm not sure that this horse is going to stay this distance. Although by Silvano Mare, Duke of Marmalade, all the signs was there, but the one time this horse went further than 600 meters, both on the 1800 and the 2000, the horse faded, no freed, hung in, difficult, and I'm not sure whether this is. I would be rushing to the bookmakers, putting my money on this horse. So just be careful. This race is a nightmare. I'm telling you now, people is going to lose money on this race. Number 1, Grey Langari, also a horse that has been running, has run for 11 places out of 19 runs. Also there and thereabouts, ran behind H2 last time out, but also drawn 11, but certainly can also be involved in the finish. Do include in all your prey number 11. Then number 13, 1,000 times. Here we have another Noble Tune by Jetmaster May. Has run 3 places from 8 runs. Can probably stay the distance, but again drawn 13, but La Lewis on board, but certainly also a horse that I won't be rushing to put my money on. Then we move to race number 4, which is a maiden plate over 1600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. The betting as follows: Mystic Maker 2-1, Mystic Master 2-1, 5-2 Casimiro, 8-1 Predator, 12-1 Maestro Sanado, Fist of Fire 12-1, Proteas Pride 14-1, Uplifted 18-1, 20-1 Flying Pecan, and 20-1 and longer the rest. So here we have my first selection is my outright selection here is number 5, the favorite. This horse has shown some good form. Mystic Maker, uh, just Mystic Master. Master of My Fate by Al Maftimir, well-bred Elni, but I don't know the names, but she's thrown some very good horses in her time. This horse is coming off a short race, but I'm not worried about that because Gavin van Zyl is a professional. And this horse ran well behind Origami over the 800 meters last time, but got cramped at the crucial time. But before that was running unwell, and the race before that was also running unwell. And I think today Mystic Master over the 1600 meters is going to be hard to beat. And my outsider selections is number 1, which is Tia Pride. You see another Richard Fourie ride, Cape Town Noir by Northern Guest. Lately, a few of the Cape Town Noirs has won, so certainly a talent that one have to keep an eye out. This horse ran nicely the last time out behind Jack in the Pot. 2.5 lengths stayed on, and I think might be involved in the finish today. Number 2, Maestro Sonador, also a horse that you can include, have been improving over his last 2 races, also a horse that is with a chance. Then I want to move down here for my other outsider selection, and that's number 14. Predator. Predator is, I think, is also a horse with a good chance, but for the draw, I would have made this horse my first selection. But this horse has run 3 seconds in a row, and certainly are now due for a win. Has been running well. I just want to make a note here. You'll see here, this horse ran second to Fred. Fred came out here in Gauteng and won his first race. So that was certainly a good effort. The form has been frank. I think 14 Predator from this draw is going to be is going to be definitely a horse that will be there when the photos are taken. But I just fear that the 1400 meters will up to 1400 the 14 draw might be a bit difficult to overcome. But let us see what happens. He's got experienced jockey on board. Then I'm going to have a look at number 7. Number 7 is Casimiro. This horse, I think, has also got a huge chance. Paul Lafferty only had 2 runs, kicking the mile on board, and both his runs run well. And I'm thinking that the 1600 meters will actually suit this horse better. But was the fastest 400 to finish on both his races. Also, a horse that I considered to be my first selection, but the only thing that stopped me was although I think it will be, the 1600 meters will suit. I just thought that number 5 might be better selection in this case. So let's move to race number 5. Race number 5 is a Pinnacle Stakes over 1600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we find another Richard Fourie runner as a favorite. Justin Snape, Richard Fourie, Crown Tires, 18-10, 13-10 Sniper Shot, Princess Ruler 9-2, Priceless Ruler 9-2, 11-2 Trip to Africa, 13-2 Williams Land, 12-1 and better the rest. Here we have another Kamala runner, but that was on this horse has won the Gold Cup, so probably just giving it the run, and in number 6 Farland. So here we have a look at number 5 Crown Towers. Crown Towers is the best weighted horse in this race. It's by Camelot out of a Galileo mare. And this is really a good breeding and stuff. But this horse, Crown Towers, has run against some very good opposition, beating them. And I think in this Pinnacle play today, uh, will they will find it hard to beat um, Crown Towers. My only little bit of a concern is the 1600 meters, as he has here, but he has won twice over this distance. But over this course and distance, I only could manage a third place. But I think this horse ran against some strong opposition up in Gauteng um, a while ago. But I'm sure Justin Snape will have him ready. And I think today in this field, they might find it hard to beat. And for outsider selections, we're going for number 4, Trip to Africa. Trip to Africa, also getting the -1.5. And certainly when this horse won over the 1600 meters on the poly, that surprised everybody, hence the price of 20 to 1. But this horse has only had 12 runs for 4 wins, which certainly is way above some other horses' expectations. That run behind Goodest Pride last time out, has won on this on the course, but not a course and distance, but has won twice over this distance. But I certainly won't have a problem with the gravel turf, and also getting -1.5. I think Trip to Africa, certainly a big runner in this field. Then you can also look at number 1, Sniper Shot. Sniper Shot is also a horse that is always there and thereabouts, so definitely can be involved here in the finish. Although finishing behind Guru's Pride, behind Trip to Africa in the race, behind Guru's Pride, it was carrying 56, now carrying 57, and Trip to Africa is carrying 57 -1.5, so 55.5. So certainly number 4, Trip to Africa, has got a weight advantage. So let's move on to race number 6, which is a fillies and mares handicap 79 over 1900 meters. And here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Fireflower 4 to 1, Keep on Dancing 5 to 1, Mama Pajama 6 to 1, Console Queen 10 to 1, Rise 10 to 1, Easy Tizio 10 to 1, Aquax Solis 14 to 1, Sacred Ibis 14 to 1, Maria Coronana 14 to 1, and 14 to 1 and longer the rest. So here in race 6, my first selection is number 2. This is the other Console Queen, is the other Tony Nassif runner. Now, Console Queen has, I think, was always a horse with ability, but always find, 1 or 2 too strong. But has ran against some useful runners. Like here, we got Smoking Hot. Smoking Hot ran in the future yesterday. Aquan North Handicap. Here she beat Ideal Jest, running second to the Sash. Was beaten by Feldflower. Now you'll see here, Feldflower has won another race yesterday at Turffontein. So that enhanced the form, and that is why I'm going for that. And then ran third behind Plumfield in one of those, they've got this classified stakes in Gauteng, but was beaten by Plumfield, but Plumfield was carrying only 48 that day. It was my best bet for the day, Plumfield. But I think on that form and Samanga Komalo draw 2, certainly this horse must have a huge chance in this field. Then my outsider selections is number 5, Rise. Rise is also a horse that I've been following quite a nice for a long time. Also out of Noble Tune, out of a Dynasty mare. Rise has risen to the occasions before, now getting a -2.5, only carrying 53.5, and has changed stable recently in February after the last run. And I can tell you now that I think this horse is definitely a contender in this field. I do feel that she has got a bit of ability. Last time out, this got beaten by Becca. I can remember I never had Becca on my pick 6. I had Rise in my pick 6, but unfortunately, then I lost it. But the horse also came from a draw 10 out of 13, but definitely 5 Rise. a horse that you need to include in all your calculations. Then my other outsider selection is number 7, Aqua Soleil, or Traffic Guard, out of Jetmaster May. It's also filly that, when she puts her best foot forward, she can run a bit. Her form wasn't too good until they started putting her over the longer distances, where she's priced at 50, 25 to 1, beating Miss Caruso, which is still a maiden. Then didn't run too well in a higher division by Dark Moon down, then brought it down a little bit from a Class C to a Class D, where she beat Lady Lou. And I think this all shows that maybe she is improving and can be a factor in this race. Then let's quickly have a look at number 1, which is Fire Flower. Now, Fire Flower is from the Mike the Cox stable. Luke Ferraris on board, drawn 1. Also, a horse that has won a few races. But now, if you have a look here on the 5th of January, you'll see that Consul Queen also ran on the 5th of January, where she ran second behind the SAS, carrying 56.5. And Fire Flower also ran behind behind the SAS, carrying 60. So 56.5 minus 60, 56. It's 3.5 kilograms. And she ran 7 lengths behind the SAS, where Consul Queen ran 0.35 behind the SAS. So surely based on that run, I think that number 1, Flower Alley, might find it hard to Fire Flower might find it hard to beat. But Fire Flower 4 to 1, Consul Queen 10 to 1 doesn't make sense. So I would definitely be wary of number 1, Fire Flower. I don't say it doesn't have a chance, but I'm a form analyzer, and looking at that, and one of the big things about analyzing form is handicapping. If you don't understand handicapping, then you're going to find it hard to pick winners, and that is the biggest mistakes a lot of punters make. They don't know how to handicap. And if you're based on handicap rules, number 1, Fire Flower can never finish in front of number 2, Consul Queen, and that's a fact. But again, races aren't run on paper. But I can tell you that about 85% of the time, the paper do work out. So you make your choices. So let's move on to race number 8, race number 7, which is a merit rated handicap 90 over 1400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 7, My Hopes and Dreams, 22 to 10. African Sunrise, 11 to 2. Here was the other horse that Kumalo was riding, African Sunrise. Drunken Sailor, 8 to 1. Ralph the Rascal, 8 to 1. The Tauba, 10 to 1. Banzai Pipeline, 10 to 1. 12 to 1. Maitland Magic, Venetian, and Scratch number 12, Petra. The other horses, 20 to 1, and longer the rest. So here in race 7, we have number 7, which is My Hopes and Dreams. This is a Dinister Gelding by Jared May. His horse has run in Cape Town, where if you have a look at the class in this race, is B85. This horse has been running in 82s, 91s, did win a 9 to 1 other day, a B9 to 1. And I think My Hopes and Dreams really think is going to be too good for this field. Has run some decent races in Cape Town. When you have run 11 races and 4 wins, certainly that makes you not a donkey. And as you can see, this horse always finish off a race as well. Fastest 400 to finish, fastest 400 to finish, fastest 400 to finish. So certainly I think My Hopes and Dreams definitely in with a huge chance. Then my outsider selections is number 10, Banzai Pipeline. Also a horse that the broker maiden and then subsequently ran a third and a second. Also ran on well in most of her races. His races, Banzai Pipeline, and did ran in 82 last time out. It's only carrying 53 and a half. And I think number 10, Banzai Pipeline, might be a big runner in this race. My other outsider selection is number 5, Cavalieri. Um, I haven't put it in my pick six due to the fact of the cost, but if you can afford it, put in number 5. This horse is a 4-year-old, but only has had 5 runs. Last time out ran in July behind Gaelic Princess. I might just need this run, but you'll see in both of his last 2 runs, he got a bulk or couldn't get a run. And before that, you'll see that he did run unwell in some of his races. And then also when he broke his maiden, ran unwell behind Academy Award, beating Academy Award. So maybe watch this horse for the future, but do include in your larger quartets and trifectas pick sixes if you can afford. And then also number 4, African Sunrise. If you can afford that, also include that in your play. Certainly, Manga Kumala on board must have a chance. So then we move on to the last race, which is the 8th race. And here we have a maiden plate over 1400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Drogarati 33 to 10, Camora 33 to 10, Final Destiny 13 to 2, The Kingdom 17 to 2, Silver Palace 19 to 2, My Lord and Master 19 to 2, Winner's Boy 14 to 1, 13 to 1, and Better the Rest 15 to 1 Sanity. Now another very open maiden plate, and here my first selection is horse number 7. And that is number 7 is Vanu's Boy. It's a 4-year-old, but only had 6 runs and has been running well. If you have a look here, ran on behind Gentleman's Way. Gentleman's Way won again the other day. And I just got the feeling this race today over 1400 meters. The 1400 meters is surely going to suit this horse. Last time out ran 5 lengths behind Duchess of Cornwall, but that was over 1100 meters. But if we have a look here, you'll see force fastest 400 to finish, and that is an indication to me that this horse is fit, third run after a race. And I'm thinking number 7 is going to be a huge runner in this race with Raymond Danielson on board. So certainly it includes in all your play. And my outsider selections is number 4, My Lord and Master, Lyle Hewitson on board. This horse is also looking like it's improving. Last time out ran, but that was on the poly behind Fly the Coop, stayed on. Um, but this is the type of horse that you want to include in all your play. Certainly, if the horse keep on improving, can be a factor. Then my other outsider selection is number 5, Final Destiny. Warren Kennedy on board, drawn 5. This horse has also shown signs that it can run. That you know that it can it can win a maiden. And I think the 1400 meters will also suit it. It's significant to note that Final Destiny last time out was ridden by Lyle Hewitson, but Lyle Hewitson now on My Lord and Master. I'm not sure whether this is by choice or how it works, but certainly Warren Kennedy just as competent as Lyle Hewitson. You will also note when you have a look at my pick 6 that I didn't include a field because of the cost, but yeah, if one could, it would have been nice to put in the field so that when you reach the last leg, if the pick 6 will survive, you only worry about how much you're going to pay, but it didn't work out today. Another horse that I think is going to be a huge runner in this race is number 9, Camora. Stuart Randolph on board. This horse is also running there and thereabouts, also going the 1400 for the first time. And I'm sure that distance is also going to suit this horse, number 9, Camora. And then the last horse I want to look at is number 1, which is Dogliati. Drogarati or whatever. It's a wily wall, but Kahome has also shown signs of having a bit of ability, has got the best draw of the lot, and also going the 1400 meters for the first time, but surely one to watch out for. So that brings us to the end of our preview for Gravel Poly. I hope I could point you in the right directions, and as I always say, break a leg.